Before we begin, I do have a couple of housekeeping items to address. First, we encourage you to ask questions during today's webinar. Please feel free to drop them in the chat and we will do our best to address them as quickly as possible. Second, please be aware that this session is being recorded and will be shared with all registered participants following the event. Next slide, please. The agenda for today's webinar is as follows. We will start with a brief discussion about CDW Canada and our education priorities. I will then hand the session off to Samsung, who will present on both their digital signage and interactive display solutions, as well as their resources, programs, and support offerings for education sector customers. Next slide, please. So CDW has been a trusted technology partner in the Canadian market for over 2 decades. The CDW Canada team is made up of Canadians supporting Canadian organizations and individuals. Our commitment to our customers is strong. With unmatched local presence, diverse suppliers, and a dedicated team of over 1,200 Canadians, we deliver effortless access to cutting-edge IT solutions. With offices and offerings spanning from coast to coast, we deliver solutions wherever you are, ensuring seamless support and services across the country. Our Canadian head office is located in Etobicoke, Ontario, and we have 8 other offices across the country, including Ottawa, Vancouver, Victoria, Calgary, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. With a broad and diverse supplier network and a strong commitment to local procurement, we help customers navigate evolving market challenges with reliable solutions. Next slide, please. So when it comes to education, we get it. CDW will help transform your traditional learning spaces into dynamic, technology-rich environments that foster creativity, collaboration, and engagement. With an emphasis on comfort, accessibility, and innovation, modern classrooms support diverse learning styles, encourage critical thinking, and prepare students for the challenges of the future. At CDW, we are focused on solutions for evolving education trends. From classroom modernization to artificial intelligence, we are here to help you create an active, collaborative, and engaging learning environment with technology that enhances the education experience for both students and staff. Throughout my 33-year career in the Ontario K-12 education sector, I have focused on how technology and physical learning environments can enhance educational outcomes and better support both students and educators, so I'm very excited about today's session. From empowering educators to elevating student experience, Samsung's technology is redefining what's possible in modern learning environments. Now get ready to be inspired. I'm thrilled to pass the spotlight to Dan Rancourt, Samsung National Channel Sales Manager, who is here to showcase how Samsung's cutting-edge digital signage and interactive display solutions, as well as their resources, programs, and support offerings, are transforming classrooms today and will transform classrooms of the future. Take it away, Dan.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Doug. So hi, everyone. My name is Dan Rancourt. I'm here from Samsung. I am in our beautiful showroom. So if anyone has not had a chance to do it and you're in the GTA, feel free to reach out to your CW account manager and we can actually take you for a nice little tour. We have a lot of different technologies in the showroom. We have anything from a little 15-inch screens all the way up to 115-inch to big LED screens. So if you are in higher ed and looking at revitalizing some of your auditoriums, moving away from projectors where students fall asleep to, we have a lot of different technologies that are able to help you empower students, make learning easier and fun as well. So, looking at where Samsung plays into the education space, when it comes to displays, a lot of people are moving away from print. Everyone is looking at how to save trees. Everyone is looking at how you can get information quicker, how you're able to actually share more information faster, and how to be prepared for any sort of emergencies that may happen as well. So I am joined by Stephanie Mann from our VXT software team, who's going to give us a bit of a demo of some of how our software works in a little bit. But what I really want to show is that we are available and can help you to fill any of your display needs. And areas even where you don't think you could put displays, we actually can help you put displays there. We have solutions that run off of PoE. So all you need is an Ethernet drop, and you can actually run a screen off of just an Ethernet drop. We have interactive screens for classrooms. If you are a higher ed institution, you have cafeterias, lunch areas. We're able to help you out with menu boards and screens that way. If you are kind of in K-12 or, again, higher ed as well, we have a ton of different monitor solutions. So whatever you may be looking for when it comes to display, Samsung is able to help out. So moving on to the next slide. We are going to be talking a little bit about all these different solutions. So Samsung does have a ton of different monitors. Samsung actually makes up about 25% of the overall monitor market in Canada. We have a lot of solutions that actually have now what's called plug and play. So these monitors all have docking stations built into them. It allows students to come in, just plug in USB-C either from a MacBook or from a Windows device, and you can have all your peripherals connected right to the monitor and locked down right to the device, so nothing can walk away from your computer labs. So you don't have to have any extra cables, any extra dock. The dock is built right into the monitor. We have a ton of digital signage solutions that we're going to talk a little bit about. But what's great, if any of you have ever worked with Samsung in the past and used something called Magic Info, Samsung now has moved away from Magic Info. And Magic Info used to only be supported on our digital signage light and premium products. Now with our new software called VXT, it will actually be able to be used on almost every single screen that Samsung has, including our business series, which is a very entry-level price point, especially in that education space. We can hit under $750 cost on 65-inch displays, which make it very affordable for schools to do larger rollouts. And we saw a lot of schools this past year, actually through CDW, where they were looking at modernizing all their classrooms and moving a lot to our business series because they're designed to run 16 hours a day, so more than a normal school time. They've got a lot of privacy features, as well as they are a very low cost price for a lot of education. We're going to talk a little bit about interactive displays. So what you see standing in front of us is actually our interactive display. And I have our built-in camera on this model. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. And then we also have tablets allowing students to also stay engaged. Samsung did get out of the Chromebook business a few years ago, but we do still have a lot of different entry-level tablets if you are looking at Android solutions as well. So Courtney, can you move to the next slide? So looking at our monitor setup, we do have a lot of different options when it comes to monitors, whether it's our entry-level D402 or more of some of our premium series that have daisy chaining capabilities or 34-inch curves for more of your principals, for more of your decision makers, IT boards, or even for classrooms and for higher ed that are looking for more of a multi-screen, larger screen form factor. We can help out. And as you can see, those first three models there, the F434, the S60, and the C654, all have that built-in docking station, so making it very nice and easy. The one thing we do also build into every single monitor is eye care. So we do like to take care of everyone's eyes. We do have blue light filters in front of or built into every single one of our monitors. There's a button you can push and actually add that filter over top. So if students are working late at night, or if you do want to have something where we're taking care of the eyes, all of our monitors do have that built. Morgan, can you move to the next slide? So looking at our digital signage lineup, we have anywhere from 13-inch all the way up to 98-inch. We just are going to be launching at the end of this year a 115-inch screen. So we do have a ton of different sizes that are available. So if you're trying to do small little huddle spaces, or if you're looking at doing larger classrooms, we can help you out. Our first series is really our business series. That is our really go-to product when it comes to education. It is designed to run that 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. It does have pin lock and schedulers built in, so it will actually turn on and off at certain times. It does have wireless casting built in. It also has privacy controls. So you know how sometimes kids and students will like to change inputs or change channels or put in sporting events. You can prevent all of that. And using our VXT software, you can actually even live see what's being played on some of these screens. So we'll show you what that looks like shortly. If you are looking at digital signage for your campuses, we do have a digital signage light series that is perfect fit for most universities that are running 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. We do have 24/7 options, but these screens here, the QVCs, are also able to go into portrait mode. So these are poster style replacements run on power that you can run a lot of different videos from. And using our VXT, you can also run ads. So maybe you work with a local community, local charities. You have a lot of events going on. All of this can be published through our VXT software and pushed to all your screens on a campus. What's great is that sometimes I know a lot of people here are on the IT side. Sometimes what we've seen is some higher ed are actually getting their marketing teams involved and community teams where they're actually getting them to purchase the displays because they're using the displays for advertising. So it won't come out of your IT budgets. You can actually get marketing to help pay for some. With some older institutions, you are finding there isn't a lot of power plugs everywhere. We all need power nowadays, and and a lot of institutions have not maybe fully been upgraded. Certain sections have not been upgraded. So what we actually do also offer is that PoE display. It's called e. So if anyone here has ever used a Kobo, essentially it is very much like a Kobo technology, where it is little individual cells that actually produce over about 1,500 colors. So you got a high range of colors. You do have a battery built in there. So if you don't even need PoE, you just want to hang it on a wall, we include the hanging kit and makes it nice and easy to replace traditional posters. We do have some product samples if anyone is interested in testing any of those out. As well, we'll be starting to have stock in that in the next couple of months. So everyone's kind of getting a little bit of a head visibility before we launch. So Courtney, on the next slide. So a little bit high level on what VXT software is, and I don't want to steal too much of Stephanie's thunder here, but VXT is really based on two components. It has your content management side and your remote device management side. So Doug, for example, used to work for the Renfrew School Board. They had a massive area that they had to cover all the way from Petawawa up into Renfrew and all these small towns. With the content piece, they are able to actually schedule when content goes out, be able to actually tag the displays so they know what displays are at each school. And actually with the remote device management portion, they'll be able to have a dedicated dashboard that will actually allow you to see which devices are powered on, if there's any issues with any devices, if they're not connected to the Wi-Fi's, making the people that handle the IT yourselves, that handle these screens, be able to easily access all your screen information right from a single dashboard, making life nice. With that said, Courtney, can you go to the next slide? I believe we're moving right on to Stephanie, who's going to be able to give us that nice live demo of VXT. So I'm going to be turning some cameras off for a minute. Stephanie, I will like you to meet the whole team, and I will allow you to take over.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you for giving that introduction. I am going to share my screen, so just give me 1 second. I do want to thank everybody for joining today, and thank you CDW for having me as a part of this. Before I go into the live demo, I do want to just talk a little bit about VXT because I know Dan had some slides that kind of introduced it, but you might kind of be questioning like what is VXT, what is CMS, why do I need it? So CMS stands for Content Management Software. And the great thing about our Samsung VXT is that it's built into our displays. So for Samsung displays, you don't need additional set-top boxes, media players, or things like that. Because it's built in, you get that device management piece as well. So we do like to also highlight that there's content creation with it. This is a cloud-based system, so that way you don't have to worry about servers, hosting, things like that. So that is Samsung VXT. In terms of an organization, it really gives you effortless management because it not only gives you like remote management, content creation, content management, but also organizational management. As Dan kind of mentioned, there's different workspaces. So if you are a district and you manage multiple schools or maybe a higher education institute and you have multiple buildings or departments, you can manage your workspace for all of that. As well, there's unlimited users and things like that. So I have these slides. I'm going to kind of breeze through them because we're going to, talk through some of it and then I'll show you most of, what we have. So I do have kind of a similar slide to Dan's, which is showcasing the different places that we do see digital signage. I work with a lot of school districts, everything from what we call frontier school districts, which might only have like 2 or 3 schools, to the large ones such as LAUSD, which has millions of students. So every school has its, it's different and has its own needs. These are sort of all the spaces that we've seen people request digital signage for. So everything from your entrance and exits to your media labs, libraries, and things like that. What we're seeing a lot of is the need for mass communication, right? So I think particularly we've seen with COVID the need to get information out to people clearly, and in a way that everybody's going to be able to view it. So things like entrances and exits are a really big one. And you know, if I needed to make an announcement, right, I need to be able to, let's say, push one button and have that go out to all of my displays, whether it's outdoor signage, whether it's the LED video wall in our auditorium, or whether it's classroom displays or cafeteria menus. You know, I need that information out quickly, and that's what VXT can provide for you. So, lobbies, hallways, cafeterias, gyms, that's where we're seeing a lot of adoption of digital signage and need to get information out there. So VXT overview, this is the user experience. If anyone here has used Magic Info in the past, it's very IT kind of heavy. Our VXT user experience is very easy to use. It's a lot more kind of like Canva or those sort of, you know, online media creation tools. So if you have admins, or you might have a local principal, or, you know, somebody who is not familiar with IT, who does not do any kind of like device management or things like that, it's very easy for them to use. So workspace management, as I mentioned, right? So this is something that we really like to talk about, because typically we've noticed that within teams, you guys are managing a lot of different pieces of a puzzle, right? And so with that, there's a lot of security concerns of, hey, you know, person A needs access to screens 1, 2, 3, and person B needs access to screens 3, 4, 5. We don't always want them to overlap because of either content issues, security issues, or plain and simple, there's somebody that you might just think, hey, we don't want them to touch that one. So anywho, so that's why we have workspaces. So I'll show you some of our workspaces. Then we also have the user management. So as I mentioned, right, we have all sorts of different people within an organization who might need access to screens, everything from someone who's creating content to a principal to maybe, you know, education coach or a district manager. So you are able to give different user rights. And actually, I'm going to just pause on my display, and I am going to switch over to my instance of Samsung VXT. Now, one thing I didn't really mention so far is that when you're logging in, you can create a Samsung account, or you can do LDAP sign in and integrate this with your database. Like if you do, you know, if you have a Microsoft database or something like that, so that people don't have to create new accounts. So you can invite as many users as you want to. I'm actually just going to go over to my settings. You can see this is the organization that I belong to. We've got our workspaces, and this is more about the settings of the workspace. So this shows me all the workspaces that I have access to. It doesn't mean that these are all the workspaces within my organization. Our organization owner will have access to all the workspaces, and then he can say which ones, you know, each user has access to. So over here, you'll see that within my organization, we have 40 users. I did ask a couple of my colleagues to give me access to their workspaces. All of us have our own individual ones. And so we do, within your user roles, you can define if you can allow people to grant access to other workspaces, or you might say, hey, I don't want them to. I want to be the only one who can control that. So there are, you know, a lot of options for how you want the information and access to be granted. So here's everybody that is within my organization that shares a workspace with me. We have a specific trade show workspace, so that's, I can see everybody within here. And as you can see, their identities are protected. It does give a couple of details, but not everything, so that, you know, there's a little bit of privacy there. And so it is quite long list for us. But the great thing, as you can see, is that there's no limit to users. So, you know, if you have a lot of people who want to have eyes on this, you have that ability. So I'm going to go back. I did talk a little bit about the user interface, and as you can see, I don't know if this is showing. Let me make sure I minimize that. Okay, and as you can see, it's pretty clear cut, like easy to understand, right? So I've got my screens, content, playlists, and schedules, and here's the workspaces. So my default workspace is right now defaulted to it's actually kind of showing me just the storage of the entire organization. I'm going to go to my specific workspace. Within here, I can see the licenses that I have allocated to me for the screens that I can use, the screens that I have on, if I have any warnings, as Dan mentioned, any warnings that are detected, which I don't, and that's great. The storage that's being used, schedule, playlist, and content. We're going to go over to Jay's workspace. And as you can see, it also shows you the licenses that he has. So each display does require a license, and that's how you're going to get it onto VXT. He does have a warning over here, so I can go ahead and click on that and see what the warning is. And this one's a pretty simple one. It just says that the power's off, right? So it can tell you if you're like disconnected from the internet, if the power's off, something like that. And so this way you can be from a centralized location, a remote location, and be able to manage the displays without having to be there or rely on the local, on-site person to kind of tell you what's wrong or which display it is. So I can also see he has a lot more content than I do, some playlists and some schedules as well. We also have our trade show workspace. So just kind of a demonstration, right? So this has a different number of licenses, just different number of screens. So all of this information is kept within a workspace to, to keep things organized, and also again, like in terms of like security or not wanting things to bleed over, everything's separated into its own space. Okay, so with that, let me go back to my PowerPoint for a second. And I want to talk about, okay, so remote management. Remote management, I wanted to go straight into that because this is a big part of the unique sort of proposition that Samsung has with VXT. As I mentioned, because the software is pretty much built into our our commercial displays, you don't need any media boxes, but that also allows us to have controls. So over here, it can show you your real-time control. It shows a live preview, like a still image of what's being played. You have your options to lock down the display. And you can also just control multiple devices at once. So I am going to come on over here and let's go to my workspace. And I'm just going to show you one of my screens. I do have two here. And one of the things I was going to mention later on is that with the remote management and with the displays, as Dan mentioned, you don't have to have just a Samsung. This is a Android device. So if you have Windows or Android or anything with a web browser, you can put VXT on there. It's just the remote management is a little bit limited on non-Samsung or non-Tizen devices. So here I'm going to go over to my Samsung series, and I can go ahead and just start my remote control. So this is going to show me what's playing. Oh, you know what? I should have turned the volume down. Okay, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to disconnect. All right, so you are able to, it does give you a live showing of what's being played. On the right-hand side, I can set the content. It shows me some info about my license that I have on here. And then within the settings, you'll notice here there's a P logo. So P stands for Pro. We do have a standard series and a Pro series. The Pro series will give you access to our sort of more premium functions, and anything that is within a pro license will have a P here. So if you are on a standard license and you don't have access, you'll kind of know like the reason why, right? So here I do have my options to do auto power off, the storage location, locking down the display. So I can turn off the Bluetooth, the USB. I can turn off the IR sensor so that people can't, control the display that if I didn't want them to, and some other settings as well. Up here, you also have the option to apply screen presets. So these are things like adding a Wi-Fi security, adding screen software and different profiles. So if I had a fleet of devices or displays that I wanted to roll out, let's say I had like 30 displays that are going into the lobbies of 30 different schools, and I wanted them to all have the same settings, the same sort of picture settings, volume settings, things like that, I can go ahead and add a preset. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. I like to use this as my sort of reminder of the things that I want to talk about. I did mention the early warning settings and the multi-screen setup, so we'll just skip this one over. Next, I want to talk about content deployment, right? So remote management is a major part of our displays, and it's one of the main reasons why people like to go with our software. But the other big piece is the content, right? So how do you create and deploy content? So we build this into one platform so that everything's centralized and easy to use. Easy to use, and you can create and deploy on the same platform. There's compatibility across different displays. So whether I have a check-in kiosk, an e-paper, I might have a outdoor signage, either outside of our football stadium or in front of the front entrance for all the all the parents when they're dropping their kids off. I might need to say when the, PTA day is, when days off are. I can control various screens. I can also create different types of content. So if I needed video wall content, as you can see in this example, if I needed 4 different displays to give me one image, you do have the ability to create video wall content. Or if I wanted to split it into different pieces, or what we like to call sync play, which is having different displays play the same type of content at the same time. So I'm probably getting a little bit too nitty gritty into this, but the point is really that, it's not just for PowerPoints or one type of thing. Whether you have a very complex solution for digital signage or you want something simple, we can really do it all. So scheduling content and playlists, I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. It's super simple to do. And as you can see from these screenshots, it's really easy to take a look at and understand. So over here, these are the different playlists, and this is also our content that I've uploaded. So you have individual pieces of content. So let's say I uploaded like a video, an image, or I created something. Over here in the plus sign, I can go ahead and create content. Oh, and this is our Canvas piece. Yes, we are not going. Oh, yes, we've got some new arrivals to our features. We just made an update. And these are the templates that I've created. I actually wanted to go into this later. So let's actually come back to that. We're going to come back to the content piece later. Sorry, guys. I actually wanted to talk about playlists and schedules. I got ahead of myself. I got excited about the content piece. But for the playlist, what I can do here is, let's say if I just want to go into an existing one, and you guys can see I created this specifically for a portrait display that we had. And we were doing, it was an event where we did casino night. So I got all these different types of like casino content on here. But as you can see, as I kind of mentioned, right, if you have different form factors, different resolutions, different screen sizes, video walls, things like that, we can make all of it here. And here I have added multiple pieces of content. So playlist is super easy. I can literally just, select and add it in, or I can even what we call nest playlists. So nesting playlist is a really cool function, which I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint to talk about because it's easier to show over here. Nesting playlist, an example of this is that you have Christmas break coming up, right? So let's say what's great about this is that instead of having to create a new playlist, instead of having to upload to a new schedule, what I can do is nest a playlist. So let's say if I had every day I have playing our upcoming events, I have our morning announcements, maybe I have our, guidance for hand washing, like our lunch menu. But I want to also, now I want to add in something like a nested playlist, which is our Christmas signs, right? So what you can do is when you add a nested playlist, you can set dates to it for when it starts and ends. So this is a really great way to add promotional content, or maybe you have like prom coming up or something, right? And instead of having to redo everything, I can add just this piece of content, set the dates that I want it to play, and then after it's done, it'll disappear. So I really like that function because it makes things easy to use, and it also streamlines your operations, right? So now I don't have to do multiple things. So that is just sort of our playlist. And then scheduling is super easy to do. Here's an example of a schedule. What will come up is that it'll come up with the date and the week, and I can do a larger calendar view, or I can go up to the week. And all you have to do is you can just click on an empty space, and let's say I want something to play from 9 to 10 p.m. The playback time will automatically come up from where you clicked. I can select all day. I can say I want it to play once. I want it to play every single day in perpetuity, or I can set it for a certain time. So maybe I want it to play until, for a month or something. But what also you can do is say on a weekly basis, I want it to play every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you can select multiple days of the week and they don't have to be consecutive. So that's pretty cool. Or I can also do monthly. So let's say on the first Monday, or let's say, okay, the 15th of every month, or, the first Monday of every month, something like that. I want this content to play. So you are able to pick those dates. Okay, gonna go back to once. And then here you just simply click where it says add content, and then it'll go ahead and look at all the content that you've uploaded to VXT server. Now with the content, it is locked to the workspace. So if you were the admin and you wanted everybody to have shared content, then the admin can upload the content and that would be shared across different workspaces. So if I was a local user and I only had access to one school site, the content I upload would be only shared to that workspace. So that's a really great thing too as well. You have different ways of how you can share content. So let's say if it's district-wide content, the admin can upload it, everyone will have access. But let's say if it's just specific to one school site, then the local user for that workspace would upload it, and then that's where the content would be. Okay. Awesome. I am going to go back to my PowerPoint. And let's see, so that is, okay, yes, let's talk about our VXT Canvas content creation. So I already showed a little preview of that. And what's great about here is that we have pre-made templates. So these are all of our education style templates that we have pre-made in here, and everything is customizable. You can take out the photos, you can change the text, you can change the colors, you can change the resolution. So that's really great, and they're easy to use. And as well, so we have more, more than just education. If you guys are doing menu boards, if you have a student union and a school store, we have restaurants, retails, things like that. And let's say if you want to get a little bit more advanced, we also have widgets. If I was a higher education institute and I wanted to show the football game or something like that, I can do TV or HDMI widgets. I can also do social media feeds, RSS feeds, and things like weather as well. We also have an entire library of preloaded art. So that's just a really nice touch to have, a little bit more of a lifestyle kind of play, but great for like media rooms or spaces where you're not always going to be playing digital content, digital signage. So with that, I am going to go back to VXT. And also, Dan, I'm honestly not checking too much on time. So if you ever need to interrupt me, just do.
Fair enough.
Okay. Okay, so Canvas. So easy peasy. Here's all my recent things. We're just going to pull up the Science Club one. And you'll see that it's loading. It does take a second for the content to load, but here we go. You can upload your own images, PDFs, videos, things like that. So if I wanted to change out one of these images, I can go ahead and I believe I can just, yeah, replace that, right? So very easy to use. I'm not going to go too much into this because, you're not always, I'm sure the people who are creating the content, it varies by organization. So I just want to show how easy it is, though, for you to drag and drop and to replace elements within the Canvas tool. And as well, if I wanted to change the text, I wanted to have neon text. I wanted to add shapes. I'm gonna upload things from my own computer. I can go ahead and do that. So there's a lot of flexibility here, a lot of customization. If you don't have a content team, you can just go straight templates, right? So it's really all dependent on what's going to work for your organization. All right, so going back to my PowerPoint, we've talked about our playlists. What I want to mention briefly is what we call PERS apps. They're partner integrated apps. So a lot of organizations already have relationships with companies that they integrate for their software. So these are some examples of the apps that we have available. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. And this list is growing every single day. So if you have an emergency alert system you work with, like, Informacast or Securely or whatever it is, those are relationships that we're working with all the time to ensure that their APIs are compatible. I don't want to go into this too much, but just know that if you did want to integrate something, that's conversations that we're having every day, and we're happy to work with you if there is a software service that you would like to see on VXT. Okay, so did I skip something? You know what? Okay, I think what I did skip over is that what we've added new for VXT is emergency alerts. So that's why I don't have a slide, because it is super brand new, but I do want to show you guys emergency alerts. So these are really amazing because there's a couple ways that you can integrate this. So as I mentioned, if you work with a company, a software company that does emergency alerts for you, we do have API integrations. Or maybe if you just wanted to manually activate it yourself. So what you can do is just go ahead and upload like an image or a video. So let's say if you guys already have a district approved messaging for a tornado warning, right? So that's what I have over here. I can go ahead and just add it. And I've already created that over here. So I am going to just show you guys. Let's just go back. Over here, I have my tornado warning. Right now, I am an admin only for my workspace, but if you had multiple workspaces, you can apply it to multiple workspaces. So what I can do over here is, let's say if we had a tornado alert come up, I can go ahead, log into VXT, and I can just press manually activate now. So once I go ahead and do that, it'll ask me which workspaces, I want to apply that to. And it'll ask me if I wanted to do all the screens. I didn't really mention tagging because it gets pretty granular in there, but you can tag your screens. So let's say if only, I had a certain region, or a certain region where the tornado alert is on for, I can tag my screens. Like, well, for us, we do like by zip code, or like, you can do it by, let's say, elementary school or whatever. And then I can set the duration. So if the duration is 30 minutes, come on, scroll. There we go. I can do custom 1 hour, 24 hours. So as soon as I activate it, I press the red button. You'll see that it has shown me two things. One, the red activation screen, and then, of course, the activation was successful notification that just went away. But it is over here. It should show me over here in my notices that they were activated. So I do actually have this display behind me. My office is a little bit messy. Oops, I'm sorry. I unplugged the wrong thing. I unplugged my camera. Here we go. We'll turn that back on. There we go. Sorry, guys. Let me turn off my background so you can see And I do have the TV here. I'm sorry, it's messy because I'm remodeling my bathroom and I wasn't planning to show this, but I decided last minute to, so hence it's all the stuff behind me. But the TV has it did start on the emergency alert, and I set it for a shorter amount of time, so that is why it's it stopped. So with that, that is really my presentation about VXT, the things you can do with it. We have a lot of functions. I kind of just touched on some of the functions and ways that we can integrate it. And I think I'll pass it over to Dan. We can do more in-depth trainings if you want to, get you quotes or talk about it. But, I think Dan wants to show you guys also our interactive. So thank you guys so much for your time.
Gee, Stephanie, can I ask you one question, please?
Yeah.
Is there a limit on how many content creators an organization can have? And is there an approval process when they create content before it gets displayed? How does that process look?
That's a really great question. As of right now, we do not have a limit on users. So you do not, the licenses are for the displays. Each user does not need a license in order to join VXT. You could just create an account if you wanted to right now. So there's no limit on that. In terms of approving for the content, that's going to be sort of up to the admins, if they want to add an approval process to it.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem. Oh, Dan, I think you're on mute.
Thank you very much. So kind of just to give everyone a kind of high level, as Stephanie mentioned, every display does need their own license. It is a 1-year license. We are working on 3 and 5-year licenses as well. So because especially with schools and education, you get certain budgets and sometimes you don't have that same budget the next year. So if you see a need or would like to discuss longer term VXT licenses, I'm happy to also discuss that with you guys. We are also able to offer discounts for education for 25% plus on the annual cost. So depending on which license you want, we're able to actually help offer larger discounts for when it comes to education customers. As Stephanie mentioned, also there is demo licenses. So after this, I will work with the CDW team and they will be sending out some information on how to get a demo license. So if you'd like to test that out, you can feel free to sign up as many of your people as you like. And you'll be able to actually test it out and play with it. There'll be some videos in that email that will show you YouTube videos on kind of what Stephanie was showing you and how to actually activate and use some of those features. And if you do want a one-on-one training, we do have teams that we're able to actually hop on calls and walk you through based on the needs that you are trying to achieve. So if you are looking at doing more for classrooms and having the emergency broadcasting, great. If you're doing menu boards or if you're doing wayfinding solutions, we can help you depending on what exactly and custom tailor that training to yourselves, as well as many people on your team if you'd like as well. And then once you start rolling out VXT, there is multiple ways of doing support, and we're able to help you out there as well. So lots and lots of useful things that we're able to kind of show. Just going to move on to one quick little video. I always say, a picture says 1,000 words, a video says a million. So I am going to be launching a video. This is actually CDW US is actually located in Chicago, and this was in Illinois. So I thought it would be a great example. So I'm going to play a little video of some educators talking about Samsung's interactive displays. So.
We decided to upgrade from our old interactive displays to new Samsung displays because we're always looking for ways to improve the technology inside of our classroom. Making sure that things seamlessly integrated with our student devices and our teacher devices was a total game changer for us.
What I love the most about my Samsung board is the note feature. I love the 3D shapes on the note feature are perfect. They look just like worksheets and they make it a lot easier for the students to understand it in different contexts. I think the boards create a better learning environment for my students because everyone is in the community. Everybody is paying attention. Everybody wants to be the one that's called to go up to the Samsung board and write, the scale factor, or they want to make sure that I wrote part to whole when I'm talking about fractions, or they want to make sure that every detail is there, which is great for mathematics, but it's great because of the Samsung board. They're paying attention, they're doing what they're supposed to do. all the time because they're engaged, because they like the board.
Samsung's interactive whiteboards enrich the classroom for both students and teachers. The boards create a learning experience where the students can see their ideas come to life. For teachers, they have vibrant and easy-to-use displays that enhance their lessons and keep students engaged. We designed the Samsung Interactive Whiteboard with teachers in mind, so all the features and built-in tools work seamlessly in the classroom.
One of the best parts of my job is being able to do professional development with teachers. At Samsung, one of the things that we do is we are going to come alongside you. When you purchase our technology, that's the beginning. From there, we support you. We offer training, we offer professional development, we offer coaching, and we offer an ongoing relationship so that we make sure that you are able to use our technology and that it's successful in your classroom.
My favorite right now is Air Class, because Air Class allows the students to be interactive. They can put their messages on the board. They can vote too, and that's something that we use today too, so that they can see the other answers. And sometimes it's just putting a little bit of fun in math class instead of just always, just raising your hand, getting that interaction. So that's a wonderful feature too.
These boards allow us to connect wirelessly to them, to be able to move around the room, allow our teachers the freedom to get away from their desk. And so through that, they've just been an amazing addition to our classroom.
Perfect. So I will be giving a little sample and showing everyone exactly how that works. So what you guys are looking at in front of us, looking at this Brio camera here that we're using. So this screen is an AI feature screen. This recently is going to be launching actually in December. I actually set this up this morning. So some of the tools are not built in there yet, which is including some of our AI features. So some of the AI features that we do build in does allow for teachers to actually record training sessions, classroom sessions, be able to summarize those notes, share them out. If anyone here has ever used an Android phone or an Android tablet in their life, will be very familiar with what the Samsung display can do for you. So looking at some of the AI features, there is two versions of our AI features. There's on-device AI, and then there's cloud AI. So we are still working on what the cloud AI cost will be. That will be launching in the next few weeks. And I will be updating everyone and the CDW team on that. So if you are curious, but we do have a lot of other features that are built in, which is the text search, AI writing tools, as well as the built-in accessibility. So for any people that may have some deaf students in there that may need some live caption, or hard of hearing students, there is caption features that are built in. When we get into our cloud AI, there is the circle to search, the AI summary, and the live transcript as well. So those features are all going to be built right into the display. So, and if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to your CW account manager, and we're able to set up a meeting for you as well. So we are just going to start kind of sharing my screen. Did someone let me know if you can see my screen?
Yep, you're good.
Beautiful. So, boom, boom. If you've ever used a tablet before, you're probably most likely very familiar on how the home screen looks. The home screen is very similar to Android phones. You can add widgets, you can change the wallpaper, you can change all your settings. From the top, you can drag straight down. Because I'm shared. And then you're able to also swipe up to get all your apps. So going towards what the movie or the video we just watched, where they mentioned they like the whiteboarding feature. Whiteboarding feature is great, very handy. You do have all your pens. You have everything you need here to be able to easily erase. You just use the back of the pen, choose it, and you're able to easily draw, add, do anything you would like. What they also mentioned in there was having ability of tools. So inside you can insert photos, you can insert charts, rulers, you can even insert Internet Explorer. So if you want to be able to add an extra little side where you have Google there to do any searching, you can do all that within the Note tab. So you can have students actually casting to the display as well. So if you want to have any students casting to it, you want to set timers, that all falls within the Note section. So again, really when you're trying to add in PDFs and the teacher's really trying to kind of give more of an immersive lesson, you're able to easily do that through this. What you can also do is split screen. So if you didn't want to have what we had there and we wanted to have, let's say, Google your email pop up, for example. Now you can have your notes section and you can have your emails all popped up, be able to easily access that. Easily just go right back to the home screen and you're able to get right back there and you're able to launch any other additional programs. So what we've done on the screen here is we've added in AI tools. So we've been able to make different sections, again, just by dragging apps and then just putting it into different folders. You can also manage the display via Intunes. We also have a software called Radix that you can also use to push apps and programs right to the screen. So if you do want to have any sort of Microsoft PowerPoints, Word documents, Excel, you're able to do anything and everything you would more or less do on a PC directly from the display itself. Very easy, you swipe up, go right to the home screen. For Google Classroom, a lot of people are starting to use, or everyone uses Google Classroom. So great to be able to actually log in. You do have single sign-in on our displays as well. So if you do have visiting teachers or you have other teachers that would move around from classroom to classroom, you can have all the same programs installed onto the display, and then you can actually move, and the teachers are able to move classroom to classroom and still have access to all their information. You can also launch Teams directly from here. So as you know, we're already sharing and having a Teams launched up here. So I'm able to do everything on Teams as if you were to actually be using on your web. There is no PC connected. It is all being driven by me. It will act as a normal display as well. So if you are doing any sort of movies and things like that, videos, you're able to actually watch movies. You can install Netflix on here as well if you want to, or Disney. Again, any programs that you're looking to install, you're able to do that. If hypothetically you guys are using any language learning apps such as Duolingo, you can easily launch that. You can have students come right up here and actually learn and engage with the display directly. Along here, you are able to also customize what buttons are at the bottom screen as your quick access buttons. That makes life a lot easier for you to be able to do this. You can also set this up to have restrictions. So you can have it that the teachers aren't able to download apps. You're able to lock out students from accessing anything unless they have the special PIN code. You can have up to 9 students casting to this display at one time as well. So a lot of great features that are available in here. Again, what's nice is that you can actually allow to roll this into your company portal within Intune. So you can now manage these displays inside your entire network. All of our displays do come with a 3-year warranty, also available up to a 7-year extended warranty. So if you are looking at kind of doing that larger investment and you want something available for 7 years, we trust our product. We know our product is a high quality product. That's why we are willing to offer 7-year warranties for minimal cost, just to make sure that you are protected in that sense. When it comes to some of the resources that we have available, we are happy to always do virtual trainings. We'd like to tailor all of our trainings. Our trainings are really kind of about what do you use the display for? If you have PA days or UPD days, and you do want us to come in and actually, if you're located in the GTA, we're happy to host you in our showroom. We can host up to about 40 people in here pretty comfortably. We can bring a couple different displays in, and we can actually go through a 3-hour training with you on all the features and get you up and running as well. So if you do have any of your teachers that would want to qualify for that, or if you want us to do a virtual training with your school board, we are happy to do that as well. So very flexible when we come to this. We have a lot of demo units that are available. So if you and your school boards do want to try this out, we are happy to be able to provide demos for you. Courtney, are you able to quickly just share that presentation? We are a little tight on time, but I just want to make sure we go through that quickly. Perfect. Just gonna open back up Teams. Thank you. So where we have, what we're looking at right here is called our WAFX. It has a webcam and microphones built in. We also have another version that does not have the microphone and camera built in. So you have the 2 different options, but both have very similar features. Why we have one with and without, because if you did want to go for a rally bar or a Panacast or go up to a Poly Studios, higher end cameras, you can actually allow, this display will allow you to plug and play any of those cameras directly into. But with the specs that everyone likes to know, is an 8-core processor with 8 or 16 gigs of RAM. We have both versions available. USB-C charging, we have port access on the left here. So if you do have any visiting teachers, things like that, you can plug directly into the front. We do include multiple styluses. You do have 2 styluses that come with it. We can order more, but they are not special styluses. You can use any brand stylus and it will work. And we all have, hopefully most of us have a built-in stylus, which is your finger. So you can also use your finger to control the display and make notes as well. Courtney, next slide. I'm just going to wrap up. So available in 65, 75, and 86-inch options. It does have all the magnetic pen holders as well. But it's not working. Comes with the remote, and everything is all included in the box. The only thing you do need to know is there is no mounting included. So if you are looking for a mount, we can work with the CDW team and figure out exactly what you would want as a mount. Some customers like to be able to pivot it. Some customers do like to just have it flat against a wall. Some want a locking capability. So we have a lot. We're able to work with you guys to figure out exactly what you need. Courtney, next slide. So just a quick little summary. We are fully Android certified, so you can download any sort of apps or programs that you'd want onto the display. We do have a very powerful processor in there that does allows you to have multiple apps open at the same time. For example, this right now I have about 4 different, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 different programs open right now. And this thing is still running flawlessly and able to actually open all the programs and be a fast response. So very powerful there. We do also have front-facing speakers. They are 35 watts, so they are designed to kind of work for a classroom of about 30 students. They are also front-facing. They are located here and here. So most consumer TVs that you have at home, they have down-firing speakers, which tends to help make the sound travel a little bit out and gives it a little bit more of a resonating sound. Front-facing speakers do help project the sound out towards the students. Also, nice and easy for Visa mounting is a built-in. So you can either put it onto a mobile cart, like what we have here, or you can mount it right to a wall. With that said, I apologize, we are running a minute or so right on time. I will open up for some questions, but I also encourage you guys, we're happy to do any sort of trainings locally in Toronto or anywhere else. So that's according, I think, unfortunately, we did run a little bit out of time there. So, but yeah, perfect. So if you are interested in seeing the demo, please reach out to your account manager. We are happy to arrange that. If anyone wants to test out any of our features for us and wants to be a school that wants to be sort of a case study and help us to provide some feedback on some of our newer units, including the built-in webcam version, please reach out to your account manager and we can easily set that up with CDW. Doug, I'd like to pass that over to you now if anyone has any questions or wants any feedback.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions right now, but if anybody has anything, they can let us know. They can send them to us. So first of all, just to wrap up, I wanted to thank Dan and Stephanie for the fantastic presentation. Lots of great information, and a thank you to everyone who took the time to join us today. I know how busy it is this time of year for everyone. We hope that you all have gained some valuable insights into how Samsung's innovative solutions are transforming today's modern classrooms, enhancing engagement, streamlining communication, and creating dynamic learning environments. We at CDW and Samsung greatly appreciate your time and interest, and we look forward to helping you modernize learning spaces within your organizations. If you have any questions, you would like to see a quote, or better understand how you can utilize one of our contracts or GPOs, please reach out to your dedicated CDW account executive or email us at cdweducation@cdw.ca. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and please enjoy the rest of your day.